Yo, it's King of the Ring Boxing, back again with a new video. So, it's Saturday fight night. I know I'm recording this a bit too late in terms of, obviously usually with prediction videos, they do get uploaded a few days earlier, but I've been so busy, even though it is lockdown, I've just had things to do, that releasing it on fight day. So, the two fights I'll be reviewing, giving a prediction for, not reviewing, sorry. The two fights that I will be predicting or giving a sort of foresight into will be David Avanesyan sorry for the mispronunciation, versus Josh Kelly, and then do a little sort of preview for Wallin versus Brezeale. So, Avanesyan versus Kelly for the European welterweight title. How do I see this one going? So, as we all know, Josh Kelly, very flashy fighter, and there's a lot of comparisons between him and Prince Naseem Hamed, which are, in my view, very laughable because, Kelly is sort of flashy and, he can let off these eye-catching combinations which sort of, make you go wow in your seat, but he doesn't even have sort of half the power that Prince Naseem had. Now, I'm not saying that Josh Kelly is feather-fisted, but in terms of having the style he has and not having a high level of sort of power in his hands when he lets off those punches is a problem, because with Prince Naz, he was, with that sort of flashy style, it's high risk, high reward. You leave your chin out in the air, and one of the things that sort of offsets the risk is having power in your hands, and that's something which Josh Kelly doesn't, which brings me on to this fight. So, thing with Josh Kelly is he does like to feint a lot, and the main thing is with Kelly is that he likes to hook rather than jab. So he leads off with hooks a lot, and he favours the hooks over the jabs. The old saying goes, you can jab with a jabber, but you can't hook with a hooker. And David Avanesyan, sorry, even though he's not as quick as Josh Kelly, he does have immense timing. He can time Josh Kelly with a hook. So don't be surprised when whilst Kelly is letting off these combinations that Avanesyan does catch him with these hooks as the fight progresses. I think how it'll start is, I think Kelly will win probably the first few opening rounds, maybe first 2-3 rounds. And then as the fight progresses, I think Avanesyan will slowly start getting into the fight, because he does have a very good engine and he has very good energy levels as well. So he will be able to keep up the pace from round 1 into round 12. And the thing with Josh Kelly is that there was a little back and forth between Adam Booth and Avanesyan's manager or trainer, I can't really remember, where Avanesyan's guy was essentially letting the public know that Adam Booth wanted that fight to be over 10 rounds rather than 12. And Adam Booth didn't really have a reply for this, so it sort of indicates that, does Adam Booth have faith in Josh Kelly's engine? I don't know, I think it's very dubious. Like, that whole sort of, the whole conversation which was at the press conference between those two, like, it felt like Adam Booth looked uncomfortable during it, so that's something to keep an eye out for. Like, I know Kelly did go 12 rounds with Ray Robinson, but that's another thing. He went 12 rounds with Ray Robinson and it was a very messy fight. Like, Kelly was trying to show off, showboat, things like that, but rather than it looking good, it looked cringy because he wasn't really executing it properly, and he was getting timed by Ray Robinson, and I think majority of the public would say that Ray Robinson won that fight. I know it was a Eddie Hearn Matchroom show, that's why it got given a draw, but I think when you're the opponent fighting at the other guy's show and you get the draw, more times than not you've won the fight, so there should really be a loss on Kelly's record. How I see this fight going is Kelly will win the opening few rounds, and as the fight progresses, I think Avanesyan will get more and more into the fight and perhaps stop Kelly late. The thing with Avanesyan is, with Kelly preferring the hooks, Avanesyan, his guard is very high up. Like, he keeps it like earmuffs, like glued to the side of his face. So he's open for the jabs, but that's the thing, Kelly doesn't really like to jab. So Kelly might be landing like quick combinations, but they might be hitting gloves most of the time rather than the target. So that's something else to look out for. Kelly will be exacerbating a lot of energy into punches which won't be causing much damage. At the same time, Avanesyan will be timing him, hitting him with those hooks, and he even has a nice jab as well, Avanesyan. Unless Adam Booth and Josh Kelly have made stark changes in his training and the way he's going to approach this fight. If he approaches this fight as he has done in the past, I'm going to really see Avanesyan winning, and I think it will be a stoppage towards the end of the fight. But if he does change his style, if he doesn't try and showboat as much and be as in love with his athleticism as he has been, boxes smart, boxes on the back foot, use that pull counter, which he does pull off really nicely, then I think Kelly can win on points. And also, that's another thing, Avanesyan doesn't really have an iron chin, so I'm not saying he can't be hurt, but I just don't think Kelly has the power to hurt Avanesyan. But going to my head, do I think Kelly will change? Not really. We saw that Ray Robinson fight, and then the fight after that, which I forget who the opponent is, but he didn't really change much, so there's nothing to indicate that he learned from his lessons. And I think that in this fight against Avanesyan, he probably won't change his style, and thus Avanesyan will slowly get into the fight. He'll go to the body, which he likes to do, and sort of so you cash those punches out to the body from the head later on in the fight, and I think he will stop Kelly rounds 10 to 12. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think I'm wrong in my assessment? Do you think that Avanesyan is sort of not as good as I'm giving him credit for, or do you think Kelly is a lot better than I'm giving him credit for? Do you think he has a lot more power? Just let me know in the comments below. So this is just a quick one on Wallin vs Brezeale. I think this is an interesting fight because obviously Brezeale has fought at world level, and really Wallin has fought at world level as well, but they're not really world level guys. So it will be a very interesting matchup, and it is the classic boxer versus puncher. I think we saw in the fight versus Fury that Wallin is very sophisticated. He does know how to box. He has decent ring IQ. Now obviously the only time he did trouble Fury in that fight was with the court, but obviously the sort of setup towards that punch was very good, which did show me that Wallin does know how to fight. Whereas Brezeale's never been the most polished boxer and things like that, but he does have decent power, and we've not yet seen Wallin come up against someone with sort of Brezeale level power. And yeah, I think for this fight, I think Wallin will just be too quick. We'll have 2 quick feet for Brezeale, and yeah, I think Wallin might get the stoppage late. I don't really see Brezeale winning this fight unless he catches Wallin flush, but I think Wallin has enough ring IQ to offset however Brezeale might set up that big right hand. Yeah, so the only result I realistically see in that fight is a Wallin win on points or a late stoppage. But yeah, I don't really see Brezeale winning that fight just because of how much better of a boxer Wallin is. But I do give Brezeale a puncher's chance because he does have that power. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, how do you see that fight going? Do you think Brezeale will stop Wallin? Do you think that, again, I'm giving too much credit to Wallin for his ring IQ? Is that sort of Fury fight, enough of a sample size to go off when sort of evaluating how good Wallin is? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, so that's the end of the video. Obviously, like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, each like, each comment really helps this channel, and each subscription really helps this channel as well, so I'm grateful for each and every one of you. It's King of the Ring Boxing. I'm out.